Sajiri remembers being inspired to emulate her father's sword abilities as a child after witnessing him execute a convicted storyteller whose beheaded body did not realize it was already dead after finishing his tale. During an execution, Sajiri is praised by the magistrate's men for executing admirably for a woman. Although she accepts their compliments, Sajiri is burdened by the life she has chosen. This concern is noticed by Yamada Seaman Aizen, who reprimands Sajiri since the condemned will suffer if she is afraid and doubtful. Despite telling him that she will work hard to improve this shortcoming, Sajiri concerns again after slaying her next convict and wonders how she will overcome her dread and doubt. In the present, while putting a mask on Gabimaru, Sajiri believes that her answer could be a life that she would gladly accept without hesitation. The death row convicts chosen for the voyage gather in Edo for a briefing with Shogun Tokugawa Nariyoshi and his retainers in attendance. Sajiri sees a few criminals in the throng and hears Gabimaru whine about taking off his mask so he may see the shogun, which she rejects. Sajiri notices and recognizes a criminal named Adachi Madigar, as he becomes pleased to know that he can continue killing without consequence if he receives the pardon, and wonders to herself if he would be the perfect person for her to cut down without fear or hesitation after explaining to the criminals how they will be pardoned for their crimes if they manage to return back with the elixir of life from Shinsenki. Gabimaru is recognized by a kunoichi called Yuzuriha seated behind him after letting out a yawn, and hears her voice her disgust with his appearance and concern despite his infamous reputation. Gabimaru then responds with a brief apology. Sajiri wonders if Gabimaru is as dangerous as the tales make him out to be, and she looks to her blade for an answer. She is then startled to find her blade reflecting Gabimaru's bloody visage. Rather than going over the details of the island, as the criminals begin to complain, a retainer allows them to remove their masks to show them a sergeant blooming with flowers, explaining that this was a result of the island after he became the only survivor out of the 60 men sent on the last expedition. This makes the criminals fearful of the island's threat. A retainer then chastises them because he believes the voyage to heaven is a kindness from the shogun despite the fact that they are on death row. After one of the criminals, Nuragai, challenges the likelihood of the elixir of life not being present on the island, the retainer informs them that they are free to leave if they do not desire to participate in the mission, which benefits one of the criminals who chooses to depart. However, as a result of this decision, Aizen beheads the offender. The retainer warns the offenders that if they desire to participate in the excursion, they will be constantly observed by one of the Yamada seamen there, and will be executed if they engage in any abnormal behavior. He also informs them that they must keep their monitor alive in order to board the return ship and avoid being executed. Gabimaru asks Sajiri, who is holding her sword at his neck, if this is real, and feels relieved. Despite accepting this, Sajiri is perplexed as to whether Gabimaru was acting bravely or was simply naive. Following the shogun's orders, the retainer demands that the criminals decrease their numbers to the limited number of individuals the ship can board and the fewer seamen that are available. While the other criminals are perplexed by what he meant, the criminal Azuchbei makes it apparent to them by battling a convict next to him that they must kill one another until only a handful are left standing, as evidenced by the retainers in action. The retainer informs him that he is correct, but that they must always keep their hands restricted. As the massacre begins, the retainer notices the shogun being amused by the show and thinks to himself how futile the killing is because they will all be useless by the end of the brawl. The shogun then wonders as to who the elite criminals are among the skirmish and is informed by his retainer that they are the Bandit King, Azuchobei, the Kunoichi Yuzuriha, the Blade Dragon, or 8 provinces unparalleled, Tamiya Gentetsusai, the giant Rokuroda, and the hollow, Gabimaru, who confuses the retainer as to why he isn't moving from his spot. During the carnage, Aizen approaches Sajiri, believing she is overwhelmed by the sight, prompting him to warn her that what she would face on the island will be more terrible, and he asks if she is prepared to kill when the time comes. He also acknowledges to her that he does not believe she is qualified for the position and that she should instead concentrate on living quietly as a lady. While bearing his judgment, Sajiri tells Aizen that she would have chosen that life if she had the choice, but recalls from her childhood how death surrounds everyone in the Yamada clan, sword or no sword. Sajiri is then pursued by 3 crooks who seek to flee. Rather than having Aizen defend her, Sajiri walks forward to behead them herself, refusing to accept her fate as an executioner in her mind. Sajiri begins to feel her fear take over after taking another life, and she feels conflicted with herself. However, after hearing Gabimaru speak to the retainers about how it is never good to kill people, Sajiri regains her composure and asks if there was another way to pick the qualifiers, with another reason being that not all of the killers present intended to kill of their own free will. Given his unwillingness to obey the command, the retainer informs Gabimaru that he can opt to miss his opportunity at the pardon and offers a criminal a position on the expedition if he kills Gabimaru. Favoring this, a criminal approaches Gabimaru and attempts to attack him with a rock. Gabimaru tries to talk with the criminal but hears him refuse to listen and that his only alternative is to die if he is not willing to fight back. Gabamara murders the criminals in front of him after being forced to kill and bear the burden of the lives he has killed, which gets Sajure's notice. While the others are shocked by what they saw, Sajure realizes, based on Gabamara's statements from before, that she required the resolve to carry the load of her fear and the lives she steals, which causes her to cry. Aizen notices Sajure and perceives her lack of preparation for the next duty. Sajure, on the other hand, corrects Aizen by stating her intention to kill him. With only 10 criminals remaining, the retainer proclaims the massacre finished and pairs each of them with an Aseman as they travel to the unexplored island in search of the elixir of life.